So what's happened?
What's happened? I'll tell you what's happened, Mike. I flew 13 hours to come to Singapore and then have walked for 30 minutes so that we can record the intro to this video in front of the Merlion. And look at it. Have we still got that stock footage license? Wow! Look at that!
So we're here in Singapore, but we only have a limited time, which is why we've armed ourselves with so many of your suggestions and those of locals here.
We've got hundreds to get through and just a couple of days to do it in. Let's see how we get on.
It won't be hundreds.
Dish number one is
Fried Quay Tiao, and it already smells incredible. We're starting big with Bib Gourmand recommended dish that is a fried noodle with kind of cockles and shrimp, and it seems incredible. I have to be honest, I've never had it before, but we've only been in Singapore 24 hours and it's been recommended to us twice already.
gotta try it.
Wow, that is as rich and dark in flavour as it looks. That's incredible.
You get all these incredible flavours and then suddenly you get hit with the seafood. I've got the cockles, I've got the shrimp taste. Is it in a broth?
There's whole pieces of fish in there. So that, for example, is a cockle. There's whole shrimp in there. It's absolutely delicious. And you can see a dark kind of char that comes off the wok. And that is what you're tasting throughout the whole dish. Called the wok hei, and it is the fierce, searing heat of the wok and the char that it gives all of the noodles and all of the ingredients that are cooked in it.
So we've heard about hawker stands getting Michelin star status before. One came to London a few years ago. What is it about the hawker stand food that makes it so worthy of those high-end accolades?
So that's what the Bib Gourmand is. It's literally, it's almost like the Michelin star's little brother.
Right.
Little, podgy, chubby brother. Because Bib literally is Bibendum, which is the character that you see. Yes, Bibendum. He's the character that you see of the Michelin Man. And that is a nod to excellent food, but more accessible, affordable pricing. So it is like the Michelin star's chubby little brother.
So it starts really rich. It's not tomato, but it has that richness of tomato. Before you get the seafood flavour.
I'm not sure I'm getting tomato. This is
It's
super
the feeling.
sweet.
Yeah.
It's super salty. The darker noodles are slightly sweeter, especially with that wok char. So you've got this umami, fishy, sweet and salty all kind of combined. And I think this is the beauty of the hawker stand, is you are never more than a few feet from the chef. Now this chef, literally, he is the mascot of his own restaurant. He wears big goggles, he's always dressed in white, and this recipe is his late mother's. So the year that they were awarded the Bib Gourmand, 2018, sadly was also the year that she passed away, but he has kept the recipe exactly the same every year, and every year they have maintained that Bib Gourmand. That is why this place has a queue. A pretty epic first dish. I'm looking to your second choice.
Let's go, Evers. Next up, Hanan Chicken. Hanan Chicken, classic Singaporean dish. It's a style of cooking chicken. We've had it before in the studio, we've tried cooking it, we've had some expertise in cooking it. I'm excited to try it for real. You going steamed first?
I think I'm going classic steamed first, which is kind of how we were taught to do it. Straight off, it is served room temperature or cold, and what is so unique about it is that skin. It is that really soft, gelatinous texture that you get from boiling it, and when you finish boiling it, you put it straight into ice cold water, and that stops the cooking and makes it go that wonderful jelly-like skin.
The thing that strikes me is that is everything that we tend to avoid when we cook chicken at home. Like, you don't want the gelatinous skin, you want to crisp it up, you want to make it have that flavour, but actually that is one of the most chickeny flavoured chickens that I've ever eaten.
I feel like every culture and cuisine around the world has something that is just very hearty and warming and soulful, and I feel like this is the Singaporean version of like a chicken noodle soup, because it is the most chickeny, clean flavour that you can imagine. Chilli sauce.
Oh, thank goodness that dissipates quite quickly.
Try that, Rob.
Oh, I might have to.
Now that doesn't look like much, but that tastes incredible. Clean chicken broth, so aromatic.
That's one of those broths that tastes so simple, but I imagine is not easy.
When it's the only thing you do it well.
Alex, French Guy Cooking, told us about bread making in France. It's like the process is really simple, but it's not easy. And that tastes like it's really simple, but not easy to get right.
The poached or the steamed version is definitely, as I understand it, the more traditional version of the Hainanese chicken, but they also do the roast chicken here with the same rice and broth and sauces. And the roast chicken, obviously it's cooked at much higher temperatures, so it changes the meat. It's got more of a bounce and a chew that we're more familiar with, and that wonderful golden skin, as opposed to the almost jelly-like meat that you get from the steamed chicken, both of which are served on cucumber, and both of which are served room temperature or cold, which is why this is fast food. We sat down and the food was here within 3 minutes of ordering. You know it's good when you could be very happy just sitting here eating the rice on its own, because that has all that wonderful chicken fat through it. And again, the fragrance of garlic and ginger.
It's only when you come to countries like this, you realise why we get so much flack when we cook rice at home.
Have you tried that soy? That's like Marmite. It's sticky and glossy and salty and umami. I'm in my happy place.
It's almost treacly.
Yeah, Chinese cabbage in oyster sauce. What's the standout difference about places like this? I think for us is their location, because if this wasn't a place that was recommended to us, we would probably have given up on the first floor. Instead, we did 5 floors of escalators past every hair, beauty and salon place to come to, one owned, it's not a chain, in a shopping mall to have incredible food. It's just not what we're used to.
No, I think in the UK, restaurants and shopping malls are generally the chains. So you don't tend to go to them because you know what you're going to get and you're not going to get anything exciting. This is a completely different culture, and actually every shopping mall we've been into has its own food court or hawker market there, and they all look sensational.
Now this is kind of early for lunch, it's 11 AM, but there's already people waiting and queuing to grab the food because it is quick. It's quick in and out. It was years ago that this dish was suggested to us and then we gave it a go in the studio. I'm glad we finally had it here in Singapore. It did not disappoint, and I think the steamed one was actually my preferred over the roasted.
Comment down below and let us know, steamed or roasted. This is the worst thing that we've done.
No, do you do realise we have the best job in the world? We get to travel the world, we just have to do it with the cloth.
As if we don't stick out enough already.
This time, salted egg pork ribs. Look at that.
Right, I've done some reading up about this, okay? Boneless pork ribs, fried until crispy and brown, served with a buttery salted egg yolk sauce, which has then got curry leaves and chili hadis in it.
Incredible. I mean, looking around, they have a lot of things on the menu here, but it seems like every other table is ordering this. It's what we were told to eat here at New Station Snack Bar. Can't wait.
The curry leaf and chilli gives it a nice kind of warmth and fragrance, but that, bear with me, is like a Singaporean carbonara.
I was thinking hollandaise. That is so rich and buttery and creamy.
So with simple steamed rice to kind of just soak up all of that sauce, that's incredible.
Wow.
I mean, the pork is good, but the sauce is amazing. So the pork is really tender, but it's got this lovely crispy coating on the outside, and then that's super rich. I mean, it's quite a small portion compared to everything else we've eaten. Everywhere we go, all the portions seem quite big. This is a lot smaller, but it's so rich that I'm kind of glad it is. I feel like we use the word umami a lot, but this is it.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, the curry leaves just take that to a different level. It's the fragrance of them.
It's another one of those ones that celebrates a melting pot of ingredients, cooking styles, techniques. Delicious.
For me, that's another example of big queue but fast turnaround means you're quick in, quick out.
Yeah, but also no footfall. You have to know about this place to come up here to find it. So your recommendations and word of mouth is everything.
The big surprise for me was a buttery sauce. I didn't expect to have a buttery sauce in Singapore. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think so many other dishes have been fried, oil-based, stir-fried, but actually the creaminess of the salted egg is a whole different ballgame.
Are you ready for this one? It's
Carrot cake.
carrot.
Not as you know it, not as we know it, carrot cake.
Evans, I'm so confused.
I'm not going to lie, if somebody said to you, have a nice fried piece of banana cake or carrot cake, I actually think that would be delicious in our minds what that is.
Yeah.
And our fried carrot cake, which is quite gelatinous, quite bouncy. I don't know if it's rice flour mixed in with it. Quite a kick to it, quite spicy.
Yeah, it has.
Very sweet.
It's very soft. It's got the texture of gnocchi, but vegetal. Vegetal gnocchi. There's a phrase I didn't think I'd say today.
We saw him fry it in the pan, a little bit of oil. So you've got that nice kind of fried outside, a little bit of colour. Some of the bits a bit more charred than others. It's bound with egg and spice. Look at some of those crispy bits. Like, that's excellent texture added to what is otherwise, you're right, quite a cross between a custard, a vegetable, and a dough.
So it's dry, there's no sauce.
But it's not dry to eat.
No.
It's the most succulent, moist, bouncy thing ever. It's very yummy.
I can't wait until we get Wi-Fi so I can work out why it's called carrot cake.
So the main hero of the dish is this. This is the fried carrot cake, but then it's kind of fried, in this instance, with garlic, like garlic crumbs, egg, spring onion. It has some soy in it, but also it has some sweetness from somewhere, and I don't know if that's this in itself or whether there is added sugar or a sweetener.
We asked for our one to be a little bit spicy, and it's got a nice warmth to it, but it's not spicy.
But it's also one of those heats that dissipates very quickly.
Yeah.
I've heard of this mythical thing before, fried carrot cake. This is the first plate of it I've had. I'm sure there's 101 other places around the city you can buy it. This is delicious. That's the beauty of these hawker places, it's open to the elements. There's always like fans and circulated air, so it's quite cool in here, despite the fact that all the vendors are cooking over fierce heat, and we're in Singapore in quite a lot of humidity. These places are cool, not just as a vibe, but as a ambiance.
3, 2, 1. Hanan Chicken.
Mark II. So we know you guys love a comparison, and what we've learned from being in Singapore for just a couple of days is Singapore hospitality is all about recommending their favourite places to eat. And every time we've mentioned a dish, somebody has said, great dish, but you went to the wrong place. And the fact is, we're not going to be able to try them all. We're not going to get them all right. We've actually been to some of the more popular, perhaps more touristy places like Maxwell. However, it doesn't stop us trying multiple of the same dish.
And it's great because A, I get to eat more food, and B, we get to compare the Hainanese chicken that we had the other day to this one, and we can figure out what our favourite one is, so we can recommend ones.
This is Uncle Louis' famous chicken rice. He's been doing the same recipe for 29 years. I mean, who are we to argue? I could legitimately just eat a bowl of that. That is so good.
That broth is completely different to the other Hainanese chicken that we had.
Yeah, I mean, on flavour profile, it's still got that fragrance of ginger garlic. Like, I'm convinced it's white pepper, but it is a darker broth, almost turkey bone. So immediately we saw the difference in colour of this broth, and I presumed it might be because it's like a roasted bone, and then we dug deep into the bowl, it's got beans in it, and I think we've eaten them all now, Chinese dates, which is giving a real natural sweetness to it as well. So whereas the last one was beautifully clear and was kind of chicken bone, possibly even the cooked bones, this is kind of like a roasted bone depth. I would say there's a little bit more fat in the rice, chicken fat. That's great.
So we think this might be boiled chicken, whereas the last place we went to was steamed chicken. I think I preferred the texture of the steamed chicken. The skin, however, is still just as soft and gelatinous.
We don't have a word for this texture in the English language, but I've heard that in Singapore there are whole words and vocab that describe that texture.
Really?
couldn't tell you what they are, but that's what I've heard.
Wow, that ginger is completely different because it's bound with oil. You don't get the ginger flavour straight away. You get this lovely warmth, and then you get the flavour afterwards.
I'm so glad we did this because you can't judge a dish on a single plate from a single vendor when there are this many in this one market alone, let alone all the pork stalls all around the city and beyond.
There were elements from both this one and the one that we had the other day that I liked, but overall, I'd say this one's my favourite.
I think I'd agree. I like the angle of the roasted chicken, the other one, as well as the steamed chicken, but I think the rice, the ginger, and the sweeter soy sauce here, this is my favourite of the two. We've only tried two.
And now all the comments are going to go, no, this one's not the traditional one, the one you had before. Well, that's just a taste of what we've had in Singapore. Comment down below, let us know, did we go to the right places? What did you think of the dishes that we had?
And fear not, because next episode we have a whole bunch more stuff that we've stuffed in our bellies.